Hi, Mermaid Junkies. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I've had so many people reach out to me about my soulmate video, and I think to date, I think I'm like at 110,000 views, which for me and my little channel, which I have less than 3,000 subscribers, right? Like I think I'm right at three or something. That's a really big viewing, for someone that doesn't have a huge, massive channel. And so I think being a presence on being a presence on YouTube, that it's a beautiful thing to be able to express how you feel. And like, the avenue of YouTube has been such a beautiful experience for me. And so I wanted to kind of go into more detail, because a lot of people are asking me different things about twin flames, about soulmates, what's the difference, and just a couple of little personal things about my relationship with me meeting up through law of attraction. And I used a focus wheel, like really, I've used a focus wheel. And if you don't know what that is, like, if you go back and look, I have a video about how to use a focus wheel. And Abraham Hicks, well, it's like Esther Hicks, but Abraham's like law of attraction. It's this process that you use to help manifest what you desire, and it clears your energy, and it helps you to really fine tune how to manifest things at like a really, it helps you to work out the bugs, so to speak. If you have some like ebbs and flows in your vibration that you're not really aware of, it helps you to sort those out through the process of writing and creating this focus wheel. And so, like I said, if you guys, I mean, this is like a little plug, but I created and painted some beautiful little focus wheels, and I have little books that I sell. And like, I painted it because, I'm an artist, and I talk about the explanation of the process of how to use it when you get it. And so those books are, I think they're $18. And so you get like 3 copies. It's a smaller version. It's probably like a 4x8 or like a 5x7. I can't remember exactly what the size is. I'm not remembering a lot of stuff today, but they're probably like this, and you could carry them around, because I know a lot of people, like for myself personally, my personal journey, I carry little books and stuff around in my little satchel and everything when I go places, or I happen to be at a stoplight, or I happen to, not a stoplight, but if I happen to be like waiting in a parking lot for someone to meet for lunch, and I have my little focus wheel book, with me in my little satchel and stuff. It's so convenient and so helpful, because you're always, I'm always utilizing my time. And so what better way to utilize your time than to pop out a focus wheel and just, oh, I'm having some vibrational issues with this particular contrasting subject, that kind of thing. So if you're ever interested, you can always, inbox me or direct message me on my social media. And so that would be great. My Instagram social media is Raquel Margaret Carter. And that's basically, I've kind of cut down my social media right now. Well, I do have, I think it's Raquel Margaret Carter too. I think Raquel M. Carter for Twitter. And those are the only ones besides my personal Facebook account that I'm really active on right now. I'm trying to narrow things down and try to stay focused on my art. But anyway, okay, so back to the soulmate thing, right? So, okay, here's a couple, I'm going to go through a couple of the questions that people have asked me, and then I'm going to answer them. Okay, the one question was, have you met your soulmate? Is he your soulmate, or is he your twin flame? Now, I've done a lot of research on twin flames and soulmates, and so I believe that Jeffrey and I are soulmates and twin flames. Now, twin flames, the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate is you can have numerous soulmates. You can have soulmate friendships. You can have soulmate, I mean, basically everybody that you interact with in your life, if you want to look at it in that way, in a very large spectrum, is that everyone's soulmates. You know, you collide with each other before you come to your mortal existence, and you kind of say, hey, let's go toss things up down in the, virtual world, Now, twin flames are basically one soul. And I mean, this is going to take some thinking outside the box, because most people don't think the way that we do, like people that follow law of attraction or Abraham Hicks and stuff, right? Is that like attracts like. So anyway, when Jeffrey and I, this is what I believe, when Jeffrey and I were in spirit world, right, we were one soul. And so before we came to earth, we split off, like split in half. And so he's the male version, I'm the female version. And you come to earth to recollide with that particular soul, and you match so deeply, because you are really, in an essence, you are one soul, right? And I think that that's why Jeffrey and I get along so well, or we understand each other so well, is because we like the same things and dislike the same things. And you also come for a unified purpose when you're a twin flame, to help better the world. And so the both of you together, it compounds it, right? And so it helps you to create a better world through your work and your life's purpose. And so I really know that. And the other part that I'm not going to talk about, because it's really a personal thing for us, and I don't want to talk about manifestations a lot of times until they actually have manifested, because it starts to call in negative energy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you talk about certain things. Anyway, because, everything is attraction. So I'll save that for another day. But yeah, so I believe that Jeffrey and I are twin flames and soulmates. And okay, so I hope that kind of explained that a little bit. The other one that someone asked me was, what was our union? And I think I explained this a little bit, but I'll talk about what our union was. Now, at the time, like I said, you guys know my experience. I think if you've watched my videos and stuff, you know that I was married for almost 25 years prior to my twin flame, Jeffrey. And I was not at that moment looking for a soulmate or my twin flame. Now, yes, I always have believed in twin flames and soulmates. I never verbally expressed it that often, because most people are not kind of into it. Like it's, for the most part, I wasn't raised that way anyway. And so I would never really discuss it too much, because people were like, yeah, whatever. They kind of roll their eyes at you when you're not looking, but they're thinking she's crazy. But anyway, so at the time, I had been really, in the last 3 years, I had really started to get into law of attraction. And you can probably see like the dynamics of how much I've changed through my videos in the last 3 years, is that you could tell that I was on to something, like I was evolving and expanding, and I didn't know where I was going with everything. And there were days that I was kind of like, all over the place. And, I just was really trying to figure things out for myself more so in my life and in my personal transformation. And so I was just working on myself. I thought, okay, I've really had decided in the last 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, that I wanted to probably not be in that marriage anymore. But I never entertained the thought too often, because I thought, it was kind of overwhelming at the time, So I think after some really life-changing events and circumstances that happened with my previous spouse, I just really, like, those were the straw that broke the camel's back, that old saying, that I had a couple of those experiences. And I was just done, I think that's what happened. And perhaps if I would have heeded my internal call, years and years ago, but I just, everything works perfectly divinely the way that it's supposed to. But so, you know, I wasn't looking to meet my soulmate, much less Jeffrey. I wasn't looking to meet anyone. I was just trying to love myself and try to figure out why I didn't love myself and why I had become what I was at the time in that other marriage, and how to recover, you know, how to recover for me and for myself and to become that kind of person that I really desired to become, you know. And I didn't understand like what had happened to me and where did the Raquel that I knew go so long ago. I mean, you know, decades ago or whatever. And so that's the one thing. Have you ever noticed the things that you want so greatly in life are hard in coming? But the things that you're like, oh yeah, I would like that, but you don't really think about it any more than that, and they just appear. Like, that's the law of attraction. That's because we don't put resistance on that path to that desire. It's like, I have so many things that manifest, and I'm like, I want the big stuff to manifest, you know? I mean, that's a typical, normal human tendency for us to focus, and hone in on the things that we want. So see, I wasn't focusing on love. I was focusing on love, but loving myself. Like, I wasn't focusing on, like, that was the last thing I wanted was to be in another relationship. Are you kidding me? I was like, I'm not even out of this one yet. So that wasn't a thought process for me. And now, I'm not going to say that I wasn't, obviously I did want that greatly because it did manifest in 2 months, but I was just knowing that the universe was going to give that to me, and I was doing focus wheels on it. Don't get me wrong, I was doing focus wheels on a soulmate, but I was thinking longevity. You know, I was thinking in the future, probably 5 years down the road, I'll meet him. You know, the perfect timing will be right, you know, after I've been divorced a couple of years and I've gotten my, you know, sea legs again and, you know, that kind of thing. And so the whole process was so, like, it happened so rapidly that I still, like, some of my friends that practice law of attraction too, they're like, I cannot believe that came out of nowhere, Raquel. Like, that relationship came out of nowhere. And it literally felt like it did come out of nowhere. It did, because I was not expecting it at all. And so, but I was on that journey to mating with my own soul, because that's what you have to do, is mate with your own soul. Love yourself. Love being okay with being alone. Love everything about you. Love how you talk, how you act, how you move. Love being in your own body. Love your shape. Love how you know, if you're loud, love that. I mean, just embracing all of yourself, just loving yourself unconditionally with no conditions. Do not place any conditions on yourself. And I promise you that if you don't focus on a soulmate, you just focus on mating with your own soul, that person will come out of nowhere and you'll just be like, how did that happen? Oh my goodness, like, the universe knows me so well, like, knows how to, like, weave around and line you up with that particular person that is actually looking for the exact same thing that you are, you know? And so that's how it happened. I'll go into more detail, like the exact detail about, like, this happened and this happened and that happened, because, you know, technically, I mean, it sounds like you wouldn't have thought, like, on paper, it doesn't sound normal, like finding your soulmate. Like, I didn't actually meet or know of Jeffrey even, I mean, I was already on a plane coming to Florida to move to live with my parents while my divorce was going on. Now, my ex didn't know any of this. Like, I had already pre-planned everything in my head, but it wasn't because I was meeting up with somebody or anything like that. That was of no consequence. I was just having fun, talking to people on Facebook, being friendly, flirting a little, you know, that kind of thing. But it wasn't like me expecting anything or hooking up with someone behind the scenes and I was still married. It wasn't anything like that. Now, on paper, it kind of looks like that. Not kind of, it looks like that. But this is my truth, and I know what my truth is. And so I don't really care ever, because, you know, there's been whisperings and stuff that, you know, people have said, oh, well, you know, you were still technically married. Yeah, I was technically married. on paper only, though. I mean, I had already like left the marriage years ago. And so people want to like lay claim to like, well, this is how it needs to be in this rigid particular order. And it's like, you know what? No one's life is perfect, and no plan is so set in stone. Like, so how I met my soulmate and how you meet your soulmate twin flame is not going to be the same as how I met mine. And so that, once again, people shouldn't compare themselves. So don't ever compare yourself to your adventure with your soulmate or twin flame in accordance to how everybody else, or even me. Don't even look at me as an example. I think it's nice that, you know, that you can shadow me or whatever and like say, oh, okay, it helps me to understand or recognize things in my particular life or whatever. But my circumstance was different. Yours is going to be beautiful in itself, just perfectly planned and illustrated. If I'll talk artist, you know, artistry, but yours is going to be a beautiful painting all in itself, and it'll be so perfect and just so beautiful just for your eyes and your twin flame's eyes, you know, just whereas mine is so beautiful and perfect for me. So, okay, so then there was one other question I was going to answer, and then I'll let you guys go for the weekend. Was what are my sign and my twin flame sign? Now, I have to tell you a little funny story. I'll go back on this about signs and horoscopes and things like that. Now, I do believe that there is a lineup, a parallel with signs and, you know, according to, you know, astrology and things like that. But as far as like, oh, well, it says that I'm not compatible with this particular sign and that that's not going to work out or whatever. I no longer agree with that, because everything is so divinely perfect that had I have went with what I thought, I would have never given Jeffrey the time of day, because I always said because my father is a Libra. I'm a Pisces. I'm a water sign. And Jeffrey is a Libra. Now, let me tell you something funny. My dad is a Libra, and my ex-husband was a Libra. So I always thought, I'm never gonna be with a Libra again. I was thinking I want to be with like maybe a Cancer, because I'm thinking a Cancer is probably a good one. I like an earth sign, maybe like a Virgo would probably be good, because they're very nurturing in that aspect. And I was somebody that needed a lot of nurturing, I felt like, you know, at the time. So I'm going through all of these different emotions and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, no, not interested in a Libra or a Scorpio. Even that's a water sign, but I haven't ever gotten along with a Scorpio. I don't know why. Well, that's not, I mean, girlfriends, yeah, that's different. But there's still this element of jealousy in a Scorpio that I've never resonated with. So that's not to say every Scorpio, like I said, that's not to say every Scorpio. I mean, Jeffrey could have been a Scorpio, you know. So that's why I'm saying that don't ever hold your breath thinking, oh, I can only look for this particular sign or this sign, because that's what technically they say that, you know, you're compatible with, right? So like I said, I was never going to be with the Libra again. And then come to find out, when I'm talking to him, like that's the first thing that I said, that's the first thing that I asked him was, what's your sign? It sounds so cliche, but I'm very much into energy and stuff. And I was like, and he goes, oh, I'm a Libra. And I go, okay, when's your birthday? And he's like, October 7th. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my dad's birthday. So that was one of those signs, you know, that dates coincide with your twin flame and soulmate. So I was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. But anyway, like I was saying, do not ever hold your breath on, oh, I'm only going to be attracted to this person or this. Like, always keep your mind and your spirit, and know that Source has got your back. Source, God, whatever you want to call your higher inner being, is that Source knows, and Source loves you so much and wants you to have your soulmate and your twin flame. And Source will navigate the path to your least resistance for you to coincide with your twin flame and soulmate. And so don't ever put a rigid, you know, like a criteria on, well, he has to have this and this and that, because source already has all that. Your inner being already knows all that in your vibrational escrow, right? All the little things since before you even came to earth has all of that stuff internally in you. Like, let me give you an example. I don't know if I want to go that deep because that's kind of personal, but you know what? I'm just going to do it. Like, okay, so like I'll give you an example of like a couple of things that no one in this entire universe, I have never, ever spoke to another soul about. Now, one, and this is going to sound stupid, and it's going to may sound silly to you, but to me, this was something that really, really, really was important to me. And I don't know why. I have no clue why, but it was. And so I always said that I would love to have a soulmate that, obviously I said so many things, like I want him to play an instrument. I would love it if it was a guitar. That would be super, super cool. Like I always thought, you know, I want to write music with my soulmate, whatever. And Jeffrey's just like that. Like I didn't know all of these things, and I didn't ask him all of these things when I was talking to him in the beginning, you know, before I recognized like there's something about this person. I've known him before, you know, and I never knew him, but your souls know each other. But anyway, the other one was, and I don't know why this was kind of funny, but like I wanted my soulmate to be really hygienic as far as like their body. It sounds so funny when I'm saying it out loud, but like I wanted them to be like totally in touch with hygiene and, you know, cleanliness in their ears and their nails and their toenails, and I want them to keep up with, you know, manscaping. Like that was really like, I'm like, I want somebody that doesn't have a lot of hair. Like I would love them if they shaved, you know. And it's so funny because Jeffrey does that. And like I want my soulmate to be taller than me, but I don't want somebody super tall. Like I'm, you know, when people go, oh, he was tall, dark, and handsome. Like if you're way too tall, because I'm only 5'2", Jeffrey's 5'11", he's perfect. Like perfect. Because I swear if he was like 6'2" or something, I'd be like, nope, too tall. You know, it's like, see how the universe knows all of these things. Source knows all of this stuff, and it's in our little reservoir of our vibrational escrow. And like the other one was that I wanted somebody that had a sharp nose. Like I always loved and admired men when I'd see them like on TV or in movies, or I'd see them in public even sometimes, you know, at the Walgreens checkout stand. I'd be like, oh my God, he has a beautiful pointed, very, you know, very defined pointed nose. And I don't know why, but that's so funny. But like I look at Jeffrey and his nose is like perfection. It is so perfect. Like for me, it's so perfect for me. And I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot believe it. Like, you know, like I can believe it, but it's so amazing how the universe knows all those little silly things. Like there's a couple of them that are really, really private and I won't say, but like Source knew. Like my inner being knew. Like Source knows every little minute detail. Like just, it's so beautiful when you meet your soulmate and your twin flame. Like it's indescribable. And I think once you guys, the ones that have watched this video and stuff, that you've met your soulmate or twin flame, you know exactly, you know, you resonate with me. So I don't have to explain it to you because you can understand how it feels. Like it's exhilarating. Like there's no words. There really isn't any words. But anyway, so I hope I answered some of your questions. If you have more questions, just feel free to comment. You know, I always read them. You know, if you're naughty to me, I will read them and delete them, and I won't respond. But you know what? In 110, and I've had like, I guess there's like 300, close to 300 comments. I've only had 3 mean comments. 3 out of 300. That's not really bad. And you can tell that you guys are all coming to my video with a good, clean vibrational energy. And so I just want you to know how much I love you, and thank you for supporting my channel. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and I'll talk about that again probably on Monday, because I think I'm going to shoot another video on Monday. And I just want you to know how much I so appreciate you, you know, sticking around and swimming by this channel. And I'm so appreciative, and I really love talking with you guys and sharing my personal experiences and inspiring you and trying to be, you know, a little bit of love in the world. And so, as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao. Bye. I love you.